me some fabulous stuff. Okay, here's a little warm up for you guys. Here's all the irony. I'll give you guys a couple minutes. When you're ready, you can just like hold up your hand or just let me know.
My phone don't even work. Miss, can you explain what irony means?
Oh, I'm sorry. So irony is basically like something that one word. It's just kind of funny. Kind of like saying how an English teacher who teaches English can't read. Or a little example there is like a blind person leading another blind person.
Oh.
It's just something sort of silly. It makes it sort of funny. Also enhances the text to make you get better understanding.
Oh.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. For the identify the irony, just put yes or no if you think this is ironic. So we name our St. Bernard mouse. No? Okay. Nothing is certain but death and taxes. We got it. We got some yeses and we got some nos. Who's part of the yes team? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, who's part of the no team? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, one from the no to yes. All right. What a great day! I wrecked my car and got fired. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Jake's mother watched them playing video games and said, "I'm glad you're doing your homework."
Yes.
Yes. All right. All's well that ends well.
No.
All right. Let's see if you guys were right.
We named her. How is that?
Yeah, the same bird as a dog. The same bird as a dog.
That's a dog? Oh, I
The same bird as a dog. It's like a dog. So it's
If I knew that, then I would say yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, nothing is certain but death and taxes. That one's a no. Because it doesn't really like show like how one thing can like make it funny to where it's like doesn't make any sense. It's just the regular statement. We named the Birmingham mouse. That goes back to what you guys said with the irony of the name compared to a mouse, which is not actually true. So that's why it's yes. What a great day! I wrecked my car and got fired. We all said yes, because it's one thing and the other. Jake's mom watched him play video games. That one we all said yes, and then all well's end well. We all said yes for that, or no?
We said no.
You said no? Alright. Alright. Moving on. There we go. Okay, so what is theme? An message or a big idea, book, films, or other works. Now, when I think of theme, mostly, I think of it like it's just the idea of what the story's talking about. Like when you read like one of your favorite books or one of your favorite movies, it's basically like an idea saying, this is it. Like, what's some examples that you could think of, like when you watch something on TV, for example? Like, what do you guys like to watch on TV? What's some things? Yes.
I watch
action movies. Like, what's one action movie you can think of?
I don't know. I watched one of my
Some. Okay.
I watch more than my dad's watching.
Oh, okay. What does your dad watch?
I don't know. He watches Fast and Furious.
You don't know? Okay. Alright, so what other shows we could think of? Like, have we all watched SpongeBob?
No, I never seen SpongeBob a day in my life.
Oh no!
Yeah, the bad shot.
Man.
Oh,
Alright,
bubble
so,
guppies.
Oh my god.
You were annoying.
alright. So when we think of the theme of SpongeBob, for each episode, it's just goes back to like a sponge living under the pineapple under the sea, right? Different adventures. That's basically a theme there. Alright. Next one, we go into themes, we go into different categories. One of them is characters. Like, obviously, to make a story work, we gotta have different characters to tell the story, right? Part of the story. So, basically, a person representing a genre and narrative work whom the reader, viewer interprets as being endowed with particular morals, so forth and so on. I used one of my favorite examples, which is Avatar. Have anyone seen Avatar last year, Brenda?
Yes, I've seen it.
Alright, sweet. The rest of you said no. I feel bad for you. So, basically, with these three main characters, and Katara and Sokka, they go on these crazy adventures to, at the end of the day, try to defeat the Fire Lord, save the kingdom. And these characters are all dynamic in their own way, but at the end, these characters is what to make the story works. They come up with a theme, which is basically saving the day, like heroes. Do you have any questions about characters, or? Alright. Alright, next up is setting. The location, time, period, social environment, culture, etc. So, I'm gonna go back to SpongeBob because I love SpongeBob. Basically the setting is like where you're at. Like, in SpongeBob, they're at Bikini Bottom. That's never gonna change. That's where they're at. They may occasionally be on the island, but that's if the location changes.
That's gonna be hydrated. They
Huh?
don't say water. We have bikini bottom, bikini bottom.
Bikini Bottom, yeah. Yeah. Like right now in this classroom, we're technically in the setting right now. As you can see around you, different things that are part of the settings, like books, papers, cabinets, all that. Basically your generic classroom, right? So that's a setting in the store. Alright. Now we go to plot. So plot is the render and ordering events to achieve a particular artistic and emotional effect. So it's basically giving you like a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's your different types of meat to tell the story, which in the end gives you a theme. I don't know if you guys know these movies, but they're some of my favorite, dear to heart. Top, I might as well get this one out of the way because my 6th grade teacher would not stop talking about him, and this was math, ironically. Napoleon Dynamite. If you guys ever heard that movie, no one? Alright, cool. So basically, it's about this guy who lives home with his mama and his dad, and his whole thing is trying to get to prom. And so at the beginning, we have him in his house. He's kind of a loser. And then we have the middle, which he starts doing different things, trying to be active. And then he starts to get a little bit popular to where he ended up making some friends. Still weird, but by the end, he managed to get his goal, which is going to the prom. And then the other one, another example, classic favorite, is Forrest Gump. Has anyone heard of Forrest Gump?
Never watched it. Never watched it. I heard of it.
Oh man, run Forrest, run! Basically same diff here, like we have a beginning, a middle, and end. dropping this thing. In the beginning, Forrest is just a boy, has a mental disability as well as his legs, physical disability. So he is basically taking a disadvantage, but he doesn't use that disadvantage to get him hold back or anything, because thanks to his mama and his friends, he ended up just moving through life as any normal person. He got to be a football player, got to go to war, shoot some people, got to play ping pong. He got to more of a life than me, you know? And then by the end, he has a son and finally gets the girl, even though she died, but we're not going to talk about that. But by the end, he finally reaches goal, which was a full-on life, more than his disability or anyone else to tell projecting. All right. And then put it all together. We got theme, which I have a lovely little video for y'all.
Theme. But what is theme? Theme is the lesson the author wants us to learn from the story. Themes tell us what we should or should not do to ensure happiness and success in our own lives. But how do we find this elusive theme? Well, observe what the characters in a story say and do. Pay very, very close attention. And afterwards, ask yourself, what were the consequences of those actions? Some consequences are good, and some consequences are bad. That will lead you towards the theme of the story. So let's see an example using a familiar fairy tale. But first, a few ground rules about theme. Themes are a complete sentence, always, never with just one word. And themes never contain character names, not ever. A theme is true for everyone. Young and old, rich or poor, black or white, doesn't matter. If it doesn't, it's not truly a theme. But back to Cinderella. So let's look at this story first. Let's get started. We have a beautiful girl, sweet, charming, but being treated like a slave. We have a stepmother and stepsisters. All three very, very wicked. Very wicked. We have a prince. Yowza. We have a ball that the beautiful girl wants to go to. We have the wicked stepmother and stepsisters trying to stop her at every turn. We have a fairy godmother. Ultimate hookup. See? So Cinderella gets to go to the ball and she meets the prince. Love at first sight. Beautiful thing. She has to run away at midnight because everything's going to become unmagic, and she leaves behind her glass slipper. The wicked stepmother tries to stop her from trying on the glass slipper and preventing her from becoming the actual wife of the prince. Surprise, surprise, it doesn't work. And when it's all said and done, Cinderella and the prince live happily ever after. Seems pretty simple, right? Wrong! Cinderella has lots of themes. I mean, they're all throughout the movie itself. Let's start with nothing is impossible with teamwork. It's a complete sentence, it can apply to anyone in any situation, and it contains no character name. Plus, I can back up this theme. In the movie, Cinderella's little mice friends and bird friends actually hook up together to make her a dress so she can go to the ball. I mean, they're cutting with scissors, the little bluebirds are flying around, it's just teamwork out the wazoo. And the consequence is that a beautiful dress is made at the end. Nothing is impossible with teamwork. I mean, these are singing mice. They should be able to do this. And how about true love will always win in the end? Complete sentence, no character names, and can apply in every situation. So even though the wicked stepmother and the wicked stepsisters, who by the way are complete haters, tried to stop Cinderella at every point in turn, she still ended up with her one true love. True love will always win in the end. Don't be cruel or bad things will happen to you. Definitely true, complete sentence, no character names, and can apply to anyone. Long story short, these two haters died alone, probably eaten by their cats because they were so mean to Cinderella throughout the entire movie. Enough said. We could keep going, but I think you're getting the picture. Let's review. A theme is a lesson that the author wants you or us to learn from a story. Themes are always complete sentences. Themes never include character names. And a theme is true for everyone, young or old, rich or poor, black or white, tall or short, doesn't matter. If it doesn't apply to everyone, then it's not a true theme. To find a theme, observe what the characters in the story say and do. And ask yourself, what were the consequences of those actions? Were they good, ding, ding, or bad? And that will lead you to the theme of the story. So the next time you find yourself reading a book, or listening to the words on a song, or watching a movie, pay very close attention to those characters. Look to see what they say and what they do. Ask yourself what are the consequences of those actions, and see if you can find the themes.
Are we starting to get the idea, picture of theme? Alright. So what I want you guys to do with these lovely papers in front of you is, for the first part, I want you to read by yourself. Try to do some highlighting, some notes on the side, get the idea so that we can create a theme. And then after you're done, we'll go over the first half of questions together before we read it a second time. But the second time we'll read it together. Here's some questions. And when you're done, just let me know by putting your hand up or a finger or whatever. So how many people are still working? Please raise your hand. Okay. Give a couple more minutes. Okay. We all good? Alright. So, through the first reading, who are the characters in the story? Oh, I'm gonna go for the one who's raising his hand. Huh? Okay. Yes. That's one of the main characters. Who else do we notice in the story? Yes.
Her sister Josephine.
Josephine? Alright. We got Miss Miller. Josephine. Who else do we notice? Okay.
Brentley Mallard, the husband.
The husband? There, Mr. Mallory.
His name is Brentley Mallard.
Huh?
His name is Brentley Mallard.
Ah. Yeah, you're right. Okay. For anyone else? Yes.
Richard?
Richard? Where's a Richard? Okay. Is there anyone else? Alright. So, what do they seem like throughout the story? Like, what was their personalities like?
I feel like Miss Mallard, not Mallard, she's like this typical like housewife, and the husband made the decisions for her.
Please repeat that.
I feel like Miss Mallard, she's a housewife, and her husband made the decisions for her.
Oh, so basically Mrs. Mallow was kind of like controlling him?
No, Mr. Mallard was controlling her.
Oh, okay. Yes. So he was controlling. To her. Which makes a really sad marriage. Yes.
Her sister Josephine, she's like a nice person because she tried to break the news to Mrs. Mallard in the nicest way possible. She tried to break it up and like, but it doesn't hurt that much.
Oh,
She's like a nice person and a nice personality.
so
Josephine.
Josephine doesn't like Miss Mallard. So she,
No, she has a nice personality to Miss Mallard because she's Miss Mallard's sister.
oh, okay. Nice personality. And alright, so we got controlling, nice. What about these two? This is Mallard and Bentley.
I feel like Miss Mallard didn't like her husband.
Huh?
She didn't like her husband.
Oh. But
She didn't like
really bad.
She didn't like her husband. Like in the story, she wanted him to be dead.
So she was unhappy. Ooh. She was unhappy. Of course. So that means she has a motive, right? Ooh.
I want to let that out because the last sentence of the story said she died of heart disease and didn't enjoy that kill because she saw he was alive.
Oh. Well, I put it out there. Yes.
I think that like when he died, like kind of thought like she would be more independent and stuff like that. So she was kind of like excited that he died because she was getting independent spending.
You think she was excited?
Like I'm happy with the guy because he was kind of scared.
Okay. Is there in there somewhere in the text that shows that she was excited about his death?
Yeah. Where she's like free body and soul free. She was like free body and soul free, and he was over her and covering her decisions, so she's free.
Okay. Okay. All right. Got something here. Okay. Let's move on to the second part. So we're already jogging up like motives and stuff. Where is the story taking place? Yes?
I think in their house, Mrs. Malloy's house, because it seems like she knew where everything was. It seems like it was her house where she lived.
Okay. Like obviously, in the beginning, does it tell like different stuff in the house, like furniture, anything like that?
No, but when it starts getting like to the end, it starts when she said she went to her room. If it's her room, then it's probably her house.
Okay. Alright. Okay. Is anyone else got a different opinion, or everyone agree it's in our house? Furniture, all that good shit? Okay. So, I know you guys were kind of saying this in the characters when you were mentioning Miss Mallard being unhappy. So, what's the events that happened? Like, what exactly led to her being so happy that her husband died? Yes.
Because according to the text, it said that he was controlling, and he was like, basically he controlled her. So when he was gone, she was happy that she was free.
Okay. And where does that say in text?
Like from this
Cool. Good cooking here. You're already getting some stuff. Does anyone else have an idea? No? Okay. Alright. Good stuff. Okay. Now we're moving on to the second read. So exciting. Alright. Alright. Story of an Hour. With Kate Chopton. And if anyone wants to do a popcorn and jump in and read, raise your hand, point at you. If not, I'll just continue reading. But I may warn you, I get some words wrong. Knowing that Miss Mallard was afflicted with a heart trouble, great care was taken to break to her as gently as possible the news of her husband's death. It was her sister, Josephine, who told her, in broken sentences, veiled hint that revealed and half concealing. Her husband's friend Richard was there too, near her. It was her who had been in the newspaper often when intelligence of the railroad disaster was received, with Bentley Mallard's name leading the list of killed. He had only taken the time to assure himself of its truth by a second telegram and hasn't to forestall any less careful, less tender friends in bearing this sad message. Thank you.
She did not hear the story as many women have heard the same. With a paralyzed inability to accept its significance, she wept at once with sudden wild abandonment. In her sister's arms, when the storm of grief had spent itself, she went away to her room alone. She would have no one follow her.
Next.
There stood facing the open window, a comfortable, roomy armchair. Into this she sank, pressed down by physical exhaustion that haunted her body and seemed to reach into her soul.
She could see in the open square before her house the tops of trees that were all aquiver with the new spring light. The delicious breath of rain was in the air. In the street below, a peddler was crying his wares. The notes of a distant song which someone was singing reached her faintly, and countless sparrows were twittering in the eaves.
There were patches of blue sky showing here, and there through the clouds that had met and piled one above the other in the west facing her window.
You want to read it again?
She sat with her head thrown back upon the cushion of the chair, quite motionless, except when a sob came up into her throat and shook her, as a child who has cried itself to sleep continues to sob in its dream.
Anyone else?
She was young with fair, calm face whose lines bespoke repression and even a certain strength, but now there was a dull stare in her eyes whose gaze was fixed away off yonder on one of those patches of blue sky. It was not a glance of reflection, but rather indicated a suspension of intelligent thought.
There was something coming to her. There was something coming to her, and she was waiting for it fearfully. What was it? She did not know. It was too subtle and elusive to name. But she felt it creeping out of the sky, reaching toward her through the sound, the sense, the color that filled the air.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
Now her bosom rose and fell promiscuously. She was beginning to recognize the sting that was approaching to possess her, and she was striving to beat it back with her will, as powerless as her two white, slender hands would have been. When she abandoned herself, a little whispered word escaped her slightly parted lips. She said it was over and over under her breath. Free, free, free. The vacant stare and the look of terror that had followed it went from her eyes. They stayed keen and bright. Her pulses beat fast, and the coursing blood warmed and relaxed every inch of her body.
Okay.
She did not stop to ask if it were or not a word, not a monstrous joy that held her. A clear and exalted perception enabled her to dismiss the suggestion as trivial. She knew that she would weep again when she saw the kind, tender hands folded in death. The face that had never looked save with love upon her, fixed and gray and dead. But she saw beyond that bitter moment a long procession of years to come that would belong to her absolutely. And she opened and spread her arms out to them in welcome.
There would be no one to live for during these coming years. She would live for herself. There would be no powerful will bending her in that blind
It's okay.
Right.
I mess up on words too.
persistence with which men and women believe they have a right to impose a private will upon a fellow creature. A kind intention or a cruel, did I just read the same line?
Or cruel intention.
Or a cruel intention made that seem no less a crime, as she looked upon it in the brief moment of the illumination.
And yet she had loved him. Sometimes, often she had not. What did it matter? What could love, the unsolved mystery, count for in the face of this possession of self-assertion, which she suddenly recognized as the strongest impulse of her being?
free, body and soul free, she kept whispering.
Josephine was leaning before the closed door with her lips to the keyhole, imploring for admission. Luis, open the door, I beg. Open the door. You will make yourself ill. What are you doing? Luis, for heaven's sake, open the door.
Go away, I'm not making myself ill. No, she was drinking a very elixir of life. 3 days without opening the door.
Her fancy was running right along those days ahead of her. Spring days and summer days, and all sorts of days that would be her own. She breathed a quick prayer that life may be long. It was only yesterday she had thought with her shoulder that life might be long.
She rose at length and opened the door to her sister's importunities. There was a feverish triumph in her eyes, and she carried herself unwittingly like the goddess of victory. She clasped her sister's waist, and together they descended the stairs. Gertrude stood waiting for them at the bottom.
Someone was opening the front door with a latch key. It was Brentley Miller, who entered a little travel stain, composedly carrying his gripsack and umbrella. He had been far from the scene of the accident and did not even know there had been one. He stood amazed at Josephine's piercing cry, at Richard's quick motion to screen him from the view of his wife.
When the doctors came, they said that she had died of heart disease, of the joy that killed.
Right. So the people that didn't read, I'm assuming y'all listened very attentively. What can you tell me for the first question? Oh, wait, you read, didn't you? I want to hear someone who did read. Come on, don't be shy. I'm the shy one here, and I'm up here. Come on. How about you?
The first question?
Yeah. What did you notice the first time around versus the second time around of reading? Any difference?
Not really.
No?
It didn't really change that much.
Yeah? You still think it's the same old? Husband abusing her wife. At the end, he got murdered and she's pretty happy about it?
Yeah.
Alright.
Pretty much.
Alright, anyone else? How about you?
She was like excited for her husband to die, and she was ready for like to be free from him, and she can live her own life. But then eventually, he was found out to be alive, and by that time, she already died of heart disease from the joy that kills. Because she was so excited that he was dead, and she got to be free. So she ended up dying from that, from being so excited, and then something probably happened to her heart. Because she was so
They said she
excited.
had heart trouble in the beginning of the
So-
Okay.
No, what she had
You're
heart
raising your
trouble.
hand, so I want to hear your
Okay.
opinion.
I think it was like she was so happy.
What you got?
I think she was so happy that like he died, but then when he came back, like it took place on her that her heart stopped. She died.
So you, heart disease? Heart? What? Okay. No?
No,
Am I missing something?
She had a hand up.
Yeah.
Oh.
say it.
Come on, don't be shy. Come on, join us. You got this. I believe in you.
What I'm saying is that she said that she had died just because of a heart disease. Even though at the end it said that of the joy that killed. And as Diego said, she felt she was joy because of her husband's death. But so then she was saying that she wasn't really mentally stable. And also bodily stable, I guess you could physically stable. So due to the joy that other husband had, that should have been the one that killed her. Yeah.
Okay. That was good. That was solid. Alright. Okay. Anyone else want to add any spice, or we go to the next one? Alright.
But
What do you think is the overall theme from gaining of what we've known so far?
Don't give a book by its cover.
No.
Don't give a man by its death.
Never had a heart by its inside.
That's a good one, actually. I'm gonna put that
Overexcitement comes with consequences. No.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree. Yes.
Okay, no one asked me that.
Okay.
I did not. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Anyway.
Okay. So, okay, cool. Alright, so using all these questions that we have so far, how confident are we to create a little summary?
Amazing.
Oh,
Great.
You wanna write it down for me?
Bruh, I think it's my eyes or something, but
Like using all the answers to the question, come up with a summary.
Actually, it is blurry.
I can't see that.
It's just a screen. I can't see it. I can write it.
Oh, can you not see it?
Oh no, it's fine.
Do you want me
It does
Can
blur.
we write it down here?
I thought it was big.
Write it down here. Like the
It
summary?
does blur.
So you write the summary down here?
Yes. Anywhere there's empty space, please write a summary. Based on all the questions that we have answered. Everyone done? Alright, anyone want to share?
Okay, so, yeah, the summary. Isn't it like just a quick overview of the text?
Yeah.
Just to, okay, A.B. White.
She was too happy that she died.
Yeah, so the woman, his husband, supposedly died, and she's extremely happy and overjoyed, but it caused her a heart attack, just for them to find out that the husband was still alive, which is really ironic.
And tough.
Okay, well, good summary there. Did you also add some evidence to it or not?
Well, the last sentence in there, it said, when the doctors came, they said she died of a heart disease, and they were like those, and she said When she said she was happy that he died, she said free body, soul, free. She kept this fine. And I have another evidence that said there will be no powerful will ending hers that blind persistence with which men and women believe that they have the right to impose a private and upon a fellow creature.
Okay. That was good. That was pretty solid. Anyone else?
Go sing.
Here's what you got. Come on, guys.
I thought the wife was tired of being controlled.
What?
The wife was like, she was tired of being overpowered. So when something happened to her husband, she got really, really happy. And her heart gave up on her and she died. And my evidence,
You should go next.
you should go next.
I want
That's
to go next.
And I feel like,
See, before you leave, Diego, why are you?
I want to get something better than him. If I go before him, I'll say.
Alright, look, I know you got a fiery passion and I appreciate it. But are you still going?
no, he messed it up. I don't want to go anymore.
No, go. I encourage you. Raise hand, please.
I mean, that's all I said was she got too happy and she died because her heart.
You cannot sing.
To find out that her husband was still alive, but she was dead already, so she didn't even know. Sad.
Oh. Alright. Also, I forgot to mention in the beginning, I'm so sorry. Can you also mention your name so that way I can stop saying you because I realize that's really unprofessional of me.
Tamaj is his name. Well, no, Tamaya.
No, Tamaj.
Tamaj?
Tamaj is Maya.
And her name is Cecilia.
No,
Sophia.
it's Alexa.
Alexa.
Alexa. Okay.
Also known as Cecilia.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna call you Alexa.
Arthur.
Cecilia. Galvin.
Same
Am I telling the same name as your mom?
For your mom.
Cecilia.
Alright, before you answer, what is your name, sweetie? I'm sorry, I have a really mixed up tongue. Like, I cannot say words properly, so that's mostly on me. Say it one more time, please. Okay, so, yeah. What's your summary?
I said Louise. I think her name was Louise, but it was my husband's death. But suddenly the status of Louise took over her. And when she processed his death, her emotions took a switch to like excitement. And she got so enjoyed and that flipped her and threw him down the river.
Okay.
Nice, nice.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I got no evidence?
It's alright.
Wow. Still did a good job.
Okay.
Psych
Yeah.
how high.
My name is Sam.
Sam?
Same. Can you use his name on her?
Same.
Same.
Same? Okay.
Like same, like the same thing, same.
Shut up.
No,
That's my middle name.
No.
Call you Sam.
Okay.
I'm coming for you.
I feel that Mrs. Mallard was controlled by her husband until she found out he died. And she got very happy because she wanted to be free. But then her husband came home safely. And Mrs. Mallard died from heart disease because she was too happy that he died even though he's still alive.
No.
And my evidence is where she said, it said, she did not stop to ask if the word not a monstrous joy that held her. A clear and exalted perception enabled her to dismiss the suggestion as trivial. That showed she was really excited.
Yeah.
She didn't even question it.
Oh, no. Alright, that was good. I gotta get some props on that. Alright. Anyone else? I know Saints was amazing, but like,
Go Diego.
anyone else? I know you can do better.
We universally agreed for you to go next after.
Fight me, Diego. I'm
Trying to say you're not funny.
You look eager.
Yeah, Diego, go.
Say
something.
Alright. The reason why I had you guys sharing and stuff, like, I wanted you guys to see, like, how you guys all have the same idea, right? The same theme of the story, but you all interpret it in different ways. Like, you notice how some
Are you
people's wordings are
driving?
different than others, but you all came up with the same theme? You notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole point of the summary. And the summary is basically just giving your input on what happened in your own words. Depending on what kind of writing you do in the future. Some like argumentative essays when you're writing like, for example, this text, they'll have you quoting this, and then after that, like a brief little summary in the middle saying like why this makes sense. Or informative essays, they just have you just writing like to explain, like explain what cats are, or what's a dog. Informative. Just tell me facts. All right, you guys sure breezed through all that.